a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. 2009 NBA Draft. The 2009 NBA Draft was held on June 25, 2009, at the WaMu Theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City. In this draft, the National Basketball Association teams took turns selecting amateur U.S. college basketball players and other eligible players, including international players. The Los Angeles Clippers, who won the draft lottery on May 19, 2009, used their first overall draft pick to draft Blake Griffin from University of Oklahoma. However, he missed the entire 2009-10 season due to surgery on his broken left kneecap, which he injured during the preseason. Tanzanian-born Hashim Thabit from University of Connecticut was drafted second by the Memphis Grizzlies. Thabit became the first player born in Tanzania to be drafted by an NBA team. James Harden was drafted third by the Oklahoma City Thunder. This made him the first player to be drafted by the franchise, as the Oklahoma City Thunder, whose franchise moved from Seattle to OKC in 2008. The Sacramento Kings drafted Tyreke Evans fourth. He was named 2009-10 NBA Rookie of the Year, after he became the fourth NBA player in history to average at least 20 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists in his rookie season, joining the elite club of Oscar Robertson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Spanish teenager Ricky Rubio was drafted fifth by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rubio became the fifth highest drafted international player who never played U.S. college basketball to be drafted in the NBA, tied with Nikolos Tskitishvili, and behind Yao Ming, Andrea Bargnani, Darko Milicic, and Pau Gasol. 23rd pick Homrikas P became the first Israeli player to be drafted in the first round, and later he became the first Israeli to play in the NBA. The 2009 draft marked the first time 3 sons of former NBA players were selected in the top 15 picks of the draft. Stephen Curry, son of Del Curry, was drafted 7th by the Golden State Warriors. Gerald Henderson Jr., son of Gerald Henderson, was drafted 12th by the Charlotte Bobcats. Austin Day, son of Darren Day, was drafted 15th by the Detroit Pistons. The draft also marked the first time a former high school player who skipped college to play professional basketball in Europe was selected in an NBA draft. Brandon Jennings, who skipped college to play professional basketball with Italian team Lottamatica Roma, was drafted 10th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks in the draft. Stephen Curry was named NBA MVP for 2 consecutive years, and won his first NBA championship in 2015. Of the 60 players drafted, 4 were freshmen, 9 were sophomores, 12 were juniors, 22 were seniors, and 13 were international players without U.S. college basketball experience. The University of North Carolina's Tar Heels had the most players selected in the draft. 3 players were selected in the first round, and 1 was selected in the second round. This marked the second time ever that 4 Tar Heels players were selected in the first 2 rounds of an NBA draft. The Minnesota Timberwolves had the league-high 4 first-round draft picks, and the first time in team history that the team held 2 top 10 draft picks. The Timberwolves also had 2 second-round draft picks, and became the team with the most draft picks in the 2009 draft with a total of 6. The Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic were the only NBA teams who did not have a draft pick this year, although Houston acquired 3 drafted players' rights after the draft. Eligibility. The basic requirements for draft eligibility are: the CBA defines international players as players who permanently resided outside the U.S. for 3 years prior to the draft, did not complete high school in the U.S. and have never enrolled at a U.S. college or university. The basic requirement for automatic eligibility for a U.S. player is the completion of his college eligibility. Players who meet the CBA definition of international players are automatically eligible if their 22nd birthday falls during or before the calendar year of the draft. U.S. players who were at least 1 year removed from their high school graduation and have played professional basketball with a team outside the NBA were also automatically eligible. Former high school player Brandon Jennings meets these criteria. Having graduated high school in 2008, skipped college basketball, and then played professional basketball in Italy. A player who is not automatically eligible must declare his eligibility for the draft by notifying the NBA offices in writing no later than 60 days before the draft. For the 2009 draft, this date fell on April 26. An early entry candidate is allowed to withdraw his eligibility for the draft by notifying the NBA offices in writing no later than 10 days before the draft. This year, a total of 74 collegiate players and 29 international players declared as early entry candidates. At the withdrawal deadline, 55 early entry candidates withdrew from the draft, leaving 39 collegiate players and 10 international players as the early entry candidates for the draft. A player who has hired an agent will forfeit his remaining college eligibility, regardless of whether he is drafted. Also, while the collective bargaining agreement between the league and its players' union allows a player to withdraw from the draft twice, the National Collegiate Athletic Association mandates that a player who has declared twice loses his college eligibility. This second provision affected Chase Budinger, Wayne Ellington, and Ty Lawson, all of whom declared for and withdrew from the 2008 draft. Draft Lottery. The lottery selection to determine the order of the top 14 picks in the 2009 draft occurred on May 19, 2009. The Los Angeles Clippers won the first pick, while the Memphis Grizzlies and Oklahoma City Thunder moved up to second and third picks respectively. The Sacramento Kings and Washington Wizards, who had the two best chances to land a top 3 pick, fell down to the 4th and 5th spots, the lowest possible picks they could be awarded through the lottery. The remaining first-round picks and all the second-round picks were assigned to teams in reverse order of their win-loss records in the previous season. As is commonplace in the event of identical win-loss records, the NBA performed a random drawing to break the ties on April 17, 2009. Below were the chances for each team to get specific picks in the 2009 draft lottery, rounded to 3 decimal places. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?